some potato sacks. Now, it's a really good way of sourcing jute or burlap, hessian, whatever you want to call it. So there we go. If you want to get jute, these little strands here, you can pick them apart, and once you get them apart, that is essentially what you're looking for. Unlike synthetic, man-made, adapted stuff, this stuff will develop mold and mildew. Don't store it when it's wet. Always dry it and always air it out, or your suit will start to stink. So when you got these plain sacks, what you can do is you can start to dye them. You'll notice I haven't actually cut them yet. What I've done is I've literally just grabbed a whole sack and chucked it in there. It makes more sense to do that, because then you're not exceeding the amount of work that you need to do. There's a lot of different brands out there for dyes, fabric dyes you can use. They usually adhere with salt, so all you do is you just get a load of table salt, any old salt, sodium salt. As you can see, I spilled a bit there. You chuck it in there with it, you leave it for about 45 minutes, give it the odd prod and stir with a ladle, and after it comes out it should be the desired colour, in this case olive green. Once you've sewn a piece of traditional netting or fisherman's net onto your parka or whatever base garment you use, using fishing line, and you've glued it as well using something like shoe goo, which is a brand name, then you will attach these using overhanded knots, granny knots, whatever you want to call them, to the item you are going to wear as your base, and that will make up your bush rag. Or if you're doing trousers as well as a jacket and you want to do the front, then ghillie suit. Ghillie is actually known as a gamekeeper in Scotland, or a guide for stalkers. It's also a traditional pair of shoes. But these are my fabrics. After you've sewn on the fishing net with nylon, you want to use fishing line because it's rot resistant and it's much tougher than normal thread. You want to use some shoe goo. It's a brand name here. It comes supplied with a nozzle. You want the type of a squirty nozzle on the top, and you just chuck it on in dribs and drabs diagonally across it and help to secure it. Once it's all cut out and sewn on with nylon, you should burn the ends of the nylon so it melts, so it can't just slip back through, and then put on your shoe goo and dabs here and there and let it dry out, and you should do that with the whole thing. And after you've done that, you should have a pretty strong base to start hanging strips of jute from. Okay, well, I'm in the final stages now of the ghillie, and what I've done is I've had somebody do some sewing for me, someone with a machine, because I haven't got one. And frankly, I just couldn't do this by hand, so I had to get a machine. Here we go. I put the pockets from the underside on the elbows to act as arm storage and also as reinforcement for when I'm crawling. I've got all of my netting now attached to shoe goo and sewn in by hand with fishing line the whole way around. So it's pretty well done. It's pretty well on there. On the front, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but it's a lot shorter now. So that gives me the option now really of having easy access to all my pouches. So it's more like a cape. Left the velcro up there, so that velcro now still actually can be used to secure the garment, and the whole underside here is stitched in place just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. So overall it's a really rugged build and it's very strong. So now we can go for jute attachment. You can attach whatever you want to depending on the time of year for the colour, and realistically speaking less is more on most of these, and you want to use lots of natural vegetation. Okay, well, I'm out here with the finished article, and frankly pretty impressed with this. Not bad really for a homemade effort. Probably a little bit more subtle than what I'm currently wearing. What we've got here, lots of natural tones, lots of earth and lots of other goodies, so it should just blend nicely. And it looks like there's an awful lot of jute on here, but really isn't. It's just because I'm using big strips, really thick strips of potato sack, and what you've got underneath is plenty of room to put in whatever you want and, you know, stuff it, pack it with loads of natural foliage. Lots of fishing line went into this, and an awful lot of sewing machining has been done as well along the edges up here to make it really durable and robust. I have my pockets slash elbow pads here, which are the actual original pockets for further down the smock. My buttons are still taped up from when I used to go hunting. The whole thing really comes together quite nicely, and there's plenty of room, like I said, for natural vegetation. So at any time of year you can tie what you need to in there, you can blend it all and put different bits and bobs in. Depends where you're going to be shooting or maybe hunting potentially. This as well, you can buy these bits and bobs online. They're little bits of synthetic jute, and they're really good because they're mildew and damp resistant and they won't rot or get mouldy. so they're actually quite a good bit of kit to have. Overall, not too shabby. This thing is really not that heavy, and I've kept the weight down by doing a bit of cutting, as you can tell, taking up part of it, so it's now basically a cape. Looks really good and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to be wearing it tomorrow, so fingers crossed for that one. The overall time to complete one of these, you're looking at around about 20 hours or so to get it completely done. So do not just start one and think to yourself, hey, I'll have it done by the end of the day, because you won't do it. You're going to need a couple weeks.